Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my hobby home. My name is Cathy. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am going to be working on the Poppie cotton sew along here. I'm trying to see if I can see it, this block right here, which I'm very excited about. It is the double flowers. I'm really excited. It didn't have an extreme amount of pieces, but it does have a lot of little pieces, but these are the only cuts that I had to make. Yeah, and you will notice that quite a few of them are the size of my alphabeties. So I am going to just kind of get my setup here so I can get to going. Oh, I cleaned my machine and forgot to thread my needle. It never seems to work that first time after I do a cleaning. Probably because the thread's loose or something, but that's okay. So we are just going to get right on into it and chit-chatting. And y'all, I'm really excited. I probably need to move my machine over just a wee bit. Okay, I think I have everything set up nicely now. For this piece, we used some of the fabrics that we had already received. So we did not get like every piece this time. And that's what I am finding out with this sew along, is that each month we get different fabrics, but they don't give you all the fabric that you need for each month, because sometimes you might have gotten a piece that you could use at a prior block. I don't know what to call it. It's not a clue because I know what they all are. They all are in this little booklet right here. Okay, I am back. I know it was just a minute there, but it was almost 20 minutes here. I have marked all my small pieces. Normally I do that before I start sewing, so I don't know what got in my head this time. So we are just going to get started making our block. So we're going to make the pink one first, because it's the first one on my pattern, so I try to stay with my pattern. We've taken a square, and I really don't have to tell you this because you may not be sewing this. It's a lot of marking. I know some people can do this without marking. I cannot. I still mark all my fabrics, which is okay. I may still be doing this 10 years from now, and if I am, that'll be okay too. And I believe all of my squares have, I'm looking at it, all of my pinks and all of my yellows do have this somewhere on it. So I am going to just go ahead and put all of these on, and I guess that will dictate where the rest of them go. And now, cutting these really small pieces, I do end up with a lot of little straggly where it's raveling. I wish it did not do that, but it does, so I'm having a lot of problems with that. Okay, so now I go to do my yellows as well, because I believe they all have one of these on here as well. I hope you guys are having a great day. I believe y'all will be seeing this on Friday, so it'll be the start to your weekend, or some of you's weekend. I took a few days to watch my grandbaby. Because my daughter is getting him a regular babysitter, and he will start, well, his regular babysitter that's been watching him tends to have to take the first Monday of each month, and been taking quite a few Fridays here recently where they didn't watch the baby. And it was really putting my daughter out, so she had to find somebody that could watch the baby. And so in the middle of her doing that, I just took a few days off to help her. And the baby sleeps really well. He has not been feeling well. He is cutting teeth, and you know, they just don't feel real good when they're doing things like that. So he's napping, and my husband is here today. So my husband worked off this morning. I may be a little quieter, and that's why, but that's what we've got going on today. Grandbabying, and I'm looking to see. I have another one here that I have to put those on, so I think I'm going to go on and put those on this other as well, because I have to put them on all four sides. Okay, so I'm going to lay these over and just go on and do these. I should have looked, but I didn't, and that's okay. But today, my plan today is to have a lot of sewing done. Since my husband is here, he can tend the grandbaby when he wakes up, or get my attention. And that way I can close my door and sew all day. And you may hear something ticking or knocking, and that's my kitty cat playing, knocking her toys into my door. She does that. I'm going to try to get all four of these corners done on these. Just go on and get these done. So guys, what are y'all going into the weekend looking like? I mean, do y'all have family plans for this weekend? I know we have storms coming in. Lots of storms coming in. I don't know if it's going to be this weekend or not, but today we have storms coming in. This evening, possibly. I'm going to see if I can attach these, or if they're going to be in the way. It don't look like they're going to be in the way. That's good. I'm not quite sure what this weekend looks like yet. I haven't looked that far in advance. But I know as of today, we have storms coming in this evening. So I may only get one thing done today, which will be fine. If I get anything done at all, I'm happy. I don't always have to get something completed, but I do have a completion this week. It may only be one thing. Well, I think it was a completion last week too, but it's a different completion. So that will be on my updates. And my goal this week is to have another completion, not just the one that I'll be showing you guys, but to have an extra, have a quilting completion. But I don't know, it's just according to if time allows for that to be done. So, you know, sometimes we have more things to do than we have time for. But mine here lately is, I may have time, but I may not have the energy. Because I tell you what, they knew what they were doing when they didn't let old people like me have. I ain't old. Let me come back. I'm not old at all. I am only, and a lot of women are probably going to be gasping that I'm telling my age, but I feel blessed to have as many years as I've had. I am 52, and the Lord knew what he was doing when he didn't let 52-year-olds have babies. Because I know some of them probably still can have babies, but man, I don't have the energy. There is no way. I'd be under the bed every day. because babies take lots of energy. And that is something I don't have a lot of. I'm working on it though. I tell you what, my husband and I actually have a call tomorrow with I don't know if it's like a medical team or just a doctor for an interview. I don't know what it is, but it's like an internist, I think. I'm not real sure what this doctor's specialty is, but it's kind of to find out, you know, like why we have low energy. I have low energy because I'm burning the candle on both ends most days. I don't have to ask anybody why. I mean, I eat my vitamins and I take vitamins. But, you know, we're going to do all the stuff to see, you know, I'm just going to humor my husband. I don't need anybody to tell me why I'm tired. I'm tired because I'm a busy person. And that is the goal, is to wear myself out. So at night when I lay down in my bed, I don't lay there for hours not being able to go to sleep. Because that has been a problem in the past. It's not now. Not since I've been sewing and since I've got grandbabies. That's not a problem. Now it's when I lay my head down, I go to sleep. I may not sleep very long. I may only sleep 2 hours. That's the problem, is why can I not stay asleep? I know I'm running on fumes a lot of days. And that's okay with me, because as far as I'm concerned, that's how I'm designed to be. Idleness is a person's downfall, I believe. I believe if you can, you should. Because, I don't know, I think I've seen a saying that said something like, idleness is the devil's playground, or something like that. Because you sure can get into a lot of stuff if you're idle. I try not to let my mind be idle very long. My mind or my hands. I try to stay busy. And that really only came about after I had realized I was having grandkids. Because I thought, back in 21, I almost was no longer here. I'll let you use your deductive reasoning, and if you really want to know, you can email me. I don't mind telling people, because it's part of my life. It's part of my testimony. And I don't mind telling people, you know, because you just can't on this platform. But I realize now every day is a gift. And I have grandbabies now. And I think about, you know, when I had my grandmother had so many things that she had made that we cherish now. That she is gone. She made quilts. She made pillowcases. My grandmother has some of the most beautiful linens that was hand embroidered, and we all love them. We think they're beautiful, but she left us that legacy. So I want to leave something like that for my grandbabies. You see me looking around because I'm getting ready to trim, so I'm going to pause you guys and trim, and I'll be right back. So now I'm going to be adding another piece on each one of the corners. And guys, we're probably already almost at 50 minutes, but I know y'all are probably only at 15 minutes, because normally I mark my fabrics before I start sewing. Right now, I'm kind of going out of order. I did the other little squares, and I did trim them, but I haven't pressed them yet. I'll wait and press everything at the same time when I get these little corner pieces added on, because I'll need to add the little corner pieces to another corner on this. Because what I was telling you about, like my grandmother, she's left us quite a few things that we all cherish, and she had made all of us what she called our wedding quilt. Like when we got married, that was our quilt. And I still have mine. I think my sister doesn't have one. I think hers was damaged or destroyed. I don't know. I'd like to take some of my grandmother's old quilt blocks and make her a quilt out of it. So she has something from our mama, you know, that my mama made. I might finish it, but I didn't make it. So, and I do think I actually have some quilt tops that I may be able just to have quilted and do that. And I may quilt them myself. I've quilted things before, but smaller projects, never anything really, really big. I've just taken that to the long arm. Because they do a fabulous job. And I'm going to plug them in here again. Stitched in Faith. It is a quilt shop in Mangum, Louisiana. That is where my quilts go for long arming, and they do a fabulous job. Now, I don't think they do freehand quilting. They may. I don't know. I've never asked them for that. I always just use one of the, I don't know what they're called. They're little designs that's in their machine. I always use one of those because they're so pretty. But yes, I try to not be idle. So, you know, the bottom line is I stay very busy. So I don't need a doctor telling me that the reason I'm tired is because I'm running out of fuel. Which is perfectly fine for me. I will be able to rest when I'm gone. But while I'm here, there are so many things to experience that I'm going to try to. And you know, it's so funny. I was just thinking yesterday about my grandbabies, about all the things we can do now. You know, because let's face it, when you're raising kids, you never have money for the extra fun things. Now, granted, we would always, every year when my kids were young, we would take trips, especially normally the weekend before school started. We'd take a little quick trip, normally to like hot springs or, you know, a water park or something like that for them to have fun. But normally we just went camping. But I don't know if y'all know this. Camping nowadays, that's expensive. So what I am going to do is go ahead and, because one set of the squares, they all are, two of them are like this. And on the pink, we put a yellow on this bottom corner here. I knew I was going to mess up if I didn't pay attention. Now, I still may have messed up because they want the light and darks to alternate on the flower petals. I don't care where they go. I don't care if they light or dark. It don't matter to me. Oh, I don't know why I took that off because I got three more to do. But these, one more yellow and then two pinks. And then on the yellow one, we'll put a pink center. Now, these are the top two petals of the flowers. So I guess I am doing these right. Because one's a light and one's a dark. And now I think the reason that my machine does this funky, crazy stuff is because of all of the raveling these are doing. Okay, y'all, well, I decided against pressing. I'm going to press everything at once. So now what I have is two pinks and two yellows. So on the yellows, I need to, let's see, I've got my paint. Turn these. I need to add a yellow on each one of these corners here. Talking myself through this. This is not a tutorial because if I don't talk myself through it, I'll mess it up again. But if you're looking for a place just to chit chat and have a lot of fun, you're in the right place. Talking about fun, let's talk about our sew-alongs. I have 2 sew-alongs going on. There is a Facebook group. That group link will be down in the description. And okay, now that I have those done, I've got to talk myself through it again. So I have to do the pinks on these. Okay. I have to keep it straight. Anyway, the first sew-along that we have going on is the Silverstone. It's a Robert Kaufman pattern. It is a free pattern found online. If I remember, I'm going to say if I remember, I will put the link to the pattern in the description if you are interested. Or you can go, in my playlist I have sew-alongs, and the video for that sew-along will have the link in that description. Okay, so I have these 4 done. Well, they're not done. That part is done. What we're doing is making flower petals. And once we get our flower petals done, I just have to figure out what goes on this next one here. Okay, so we have a different little square that we put in our last location. So on the pink, I do like a olive green, and on the yellow, I do a bright green. But our second sew-along is called Grandma's Scrap Quilt. It is a pattern by Sherry McConnell of A Quilting Life. This also is a free pattern. You can go online and download that pattern as well, and it is also in the sew-alongs. The link is in the sew-alongs for you to download if you can't find it the other way. I try to not keep so much stuff down in the descriptions. I try to keep it video specific, but I will have my Facebook page linked. That will be in the description for you. So, and if you want to join, if you just look in featured items, I've pinned those 2 sew-alongs in the featured items. And as a reminder always, please do not make a post in the Facebook group, because it's hard for me to, don't make a post. Don't make a post about the sew-alongs. What you need to do is make a comment under that posting for the sew-alongs. That way we can keep the information differentiated throughout the sew-alongs, because since I have 2 sew-alongs going on, I know not everybody is going to join both of them. Some may not join any of them. That is fine. It's okay if you come and just see what we have going on. The Silverstone, I think is what it's called. The deadline for that one is the end of August, the last day of August. I will be doing. I've said this so many times. I don't know if it's going to be judged. I don't know what it's going to be, but there will be a gift at the end. So just keep putting your photos under that post for the Silverstone, because the last day of August, and your project does not have to be completed, does not have to be finished. I'm going to go on and trim and keep talking. Just keep posting your progress, and sadly, I have not posted any progress in there. I don't know why. I do not know why I have not posted any progress in there. I need to do that. I may do that this evening, because I will be doing some pressing today, getting that ready to be sewn together. I have my 2-piece sections done. Now all I need to do is sew them together with my other 2-piece sections, and then I'll have my squares. And how I do my sew-alongs, I try to record about an hour and a half, and y'all get about an hour video, because there's just some things that y'all don't want to see. I mean, you don't want to see me pressing because my back's turned to you, because my pressing is over here to the right of me. So y'all don't want to see that. And sometimes I have interruptions, and I still count that all in there. That's why I give myself that additional 30 minutes. I give myself an hour and 30 minutes on the sew-alongs, because that way y'all can get close to an hour video, and that's the perfect amount of time to do some sewing, get some things done that you might want to do. Hey, if you're just listening to me while you're cleaning house, that's perfectly fine too. I listen to a lot of people while I try to clean house, but I get so engrossed in it that I forget I'm cleaning house, and I stop and I watch. Yeah, that's a bad thing for me. Okay, so now I am going to press. I'm going to pause you guys, and I'll be right back. Okay, now that I am done pressing, I can start assembling. I am going to start with my pink flower, get my 4 pink, and I'm going to have to look at the instructions for this. We do. Yep, that's not going to work. That's not going to work that way either. I must have done something wrong. There's no way for this to work. I did something wrong. I know I did. Yeah, these aren't going to work right. Guys, I don't know what I did, but I followed the instructions. So obviously I did something wrong. When I'm looking at them though, they look right. Okay, it looks like I'm supposed to have. I did it all wrong. Yeah, I did it all wrong. I did it all wrong. I'm gonna have to move. Let me just do these first. Oh, and see, that one can go there. The top 2 are correct. The bottom 2 is the ones I messed up on. So let me go ahead and get the bottom 2 apart, because I know this one needs to be here and this one needs to be here. So I probably did the same thing on the yellow one, but I'm going to work one at a time to get this done. Yep, guys, you're seeing it. This is really what happens. I guess I just didn't understand the instructions correctly, because I thought I did it exactly how it says to do it. It looks like on the bottom it's flipped, and even though it says make 2 of them, but it does say do it how it shows in the diagram, and I just looked at the way it did that one. So it looks like just one of these is all I'm going to have to take apart. And normally I just do a quick rip on these, but like this. But I can't mess it up. So now I need to sew this one to this side. It's not sewing if I ain't having to take something apart and redo it. And my line isn't there, but my stitch line is still kind of showing. So, and at first I was watching my diagram, and then I quit because I was like, I need to follow the instructions. I missed that part where it said follow the diagram, but that's okay. It can all be fixed. And that's what I'm doing right now. Whoops. Let's see if we can get a flower put together. Okay, so now I have it ready to put together. And I know I didn't state it, but as always, everything is sewn on 1/4 of an inch, unless stated. And I will tell y'all, the pattern does say to press open. I don't press open, and that does cause it to have some fairly thick seams to go through sometimes. So if pressing open, if you're more comfortable pressing open, do that. I should be more comfortable pressing open, but because I come from a garment sewer perspective, but in quilting, you have these little bitty 1/4 inch seams. That, for me, is very hard to press open. In sewing garments, you have a 5/8 inch seam. And I bet a lot of people, you know, if you've never sewn garments, you've probably wondered, why do they have 5/8 marked over there? Because in quilting, I don't know that you'll ever do a 5/8 inch seam. But in garment sewing, that's what you do. Is most seams are 5/8 inches. And I'm trying to catch my seams before I take these pins out. And I think I just pulled that seam right apart from where it should be. That's why I try to get the pins in them before, because I have to raise my lever to sometimes let that tension out to get it over that seam. Okay, so last one that we're sewing the 2 pieces together, and I will then press once I get this last one done, and I will be back with the pressed. Doing these flowers, it may be best to do that pressed open seam, because this is giving me all kinds of trouble seams. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to press and get these put together, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I have my flower petals completed. The reason I went on and sewed them together all the way and then trimmed is because I did not want to go down that rabbit hole of it's not perfect. It don't have to be perfect. I'm fine with it not being perfect. So now let's go to our next step. I'm trimming a string right here. Our next step is, well, we've already done the next step. We've made these. So after we have our little green sewing flips done, we have 4 of them. We need to add this little strip across the top of each one of these units, and then we will add one of these to the bottom. I know you couldn't see what that was. It's okay. It's just a bigger of the white piece, the background. So we are just going to keep going here. I keep looking at the time, so if you see me looking directly at you guys, we're in about 2 hours now. That's with all my pressing and all my marking and all my trimming and all that, which I won't see me doing all that, because even if I didn't cut it out, you wouldn't be able to see me doing it anyway, because I do turn my back to do my pressing, because all of my pressing is done on my pressing station that's over here to the right of me, kind of behind this machine. I'm going to get all of these completed, and I hope you're sewing along with me. I hope you're enjoying. Not really much to say. This really isn't necessarily a sew along for the same thing. I hope you're just sewing along with something else that you have on your table that you want to have done. I'm just trying to catch up. I guess maybe right now is as good a time as any to tell you what I'm doing. I am working on my Poppie Cotton sew along. It is a monthly sew along, and I am on working block 6. They started, a local quilt shop to me started doing this sew along in January, and so I should be actually on block 7. I should be on July's block. Well, I started the sew along a little late, so I started, I think, about 3 months, possibly 4 already behind. So I'm playing catch up. I'm surprised I've been able to get this amount of time in, because we're about 2 hours in actually. So now we are going to be making our stem part. This is our stems, and we have bright green, and then we have kind of an olive green. So our leaves go to, I'm just trying to get them together here. We have the piece that we just done. We put it on one side, we put one on each side. That's what we do. So I am just going to just get this under this needle and start sewing. It's been several days since I've actually sewn. Y'all have probably seen this week. You've seen a lot of unboxings. It has been a few days since I've been able to sew, and not that the unboxings keep me from sewing. Unboxings a lot of time is filler content for me when I'm working on something that takes more than one day to do. And I have quite a few things that I've actually done that's not recorded. You know, just what I call easy, no thinking sewing. Because sometimes you just need that. But what I've been doing this week instead of sewing is cutting fabric, pressing fabric, getting things ready for our sew-alongs Saturday and Sunday, and also doing some more packaging of my fabrics and stuff. You probably can't tell it back here behind me, but I am packaging up some fabrics and stuff. I need to press this to make it easier to sew. And on the sew-alongs, I do try to complete the step that I'm working on prior to the next sew-along day. But I'm not going ahead of what each step is. Not that we're doing this by step or anything at all. We're doing this at our own pace. So please, if you're not where I am, don't worry about it. There are others in here that are way further on the sew-alongs than I am, which is perfectly fine. The idea of these sew-alongs is to help you smash your stash or clean out your scrap bin, to use up some of those scraps. Okay, that just went skewered, and I'm going to have to re-sew that in. I don't know why it corkscrewed there, but it did. And I'm going to put my needle back down in there and make it go straight this time. It may not, it's not wanting to. But I made it. Oh, I need to do the other one too. Make sure you put, if you're doing this with, make sure you put your leaves both on the top, because that may be a little, I see what it did there at the end. I need to sew this from the back of the one with all the seams on it, because that's why I did that. It got to that last seam and didn't want to act right. We're just making sure it's acting right. And on these leaves, it is not supposed to be points. Just so you know, I'm not cutting my points. It's how it's supposed to look, actually. Okay, yeah, so we have our stems of our flowers done. And I believe the olive one goes to the pink. So that's all we're doing now is assembling our squares. And we are just about done. This is the next to the last step. Once we get these put together, then we'll put the two large pieces together. So now we're going to put our bright green on our yellow or orange, whatever color you want to call that. They call it yellow. Some of the colors look like they're orange to me, but they're beautiful colors is what they are. Now, I will say that this block has been a little challenging on the pattern, probably just because I wasn't looking at reading the pattern and looking at the diagram. And it does say that, and I'm used to an either or, not both. But if you're ever wanting to do any type of sew-along, the Poppie Cotton, I'm telling you, they have some serious instructions that are very easy to follow. If I had just read my assembly instructions, I probably wouldn't have had any trouble at all. So we have these two done. Now we have to put them together. I don't know if I should pay attention to all these seams or not. I may pay attention to these, where these two come together. But I like the little extra insurance there that I'm doing it right. even though sometimes I'm not, but that's okay. And for those that worry about it not being perfect, I'm not entering this into any kind of judging anything. Just so you know, I mean, I sew for fun. Now, I mean, there may be a quilt that I want to enter into a quilt show or something, but it's never to win. I don't want, I mean, of course, if I place, that'd be great, but it's not for the intention of that. If I ever enter anything into a quilt show, it is going to be to get recognition out there on quilting. Get this craft back out there. And it's so nice to see that so many people are quilting again. Of course, you know, I'm new. I'm one of the newbies. I'm one of those that didn't. But it's not that it's not been something that's been in the back of my mind for a long time, because my grandmother quilted. And I feel like the things that prior generations did that helped us sustain a life, you know, we're losing that. Because now everything, yes, you can buy a mass-produced quilt way cheaper than you can make one. You can buy a mass-produced quilt easily for $30 to $50. A handmade quilt may cost you anywhere $200 to $500. That's even for a small one. Okay, let me press so we can see what it looks like. Okay, guys, here is my flower block. Is this not so cute? Look at these little flowers. Even though my points aren't right, I could show you a dozen of them that don't look right on here. But isn't that beautiful? I love doing these blocks because it's something different every month. And, you know, if you find a block that you really like to make, you can make a big quilt out of it. You really could. I really like that mushroom one. I really like the mushroom one. But guys, this is block number 6 of the Poppy Cotton Country Blessings Sew Along. I hope you have enjoyed. I know I have. I'm not going to keep you guys any longer, so leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, have a very blessed day. Goodbye.